Hello, this is Heather Hoffman, and I've got one last card to share with you today using the May 2021 Kit of the Month from Unity Stamp Company. I love that little umbrella scene, and I wanted to create kind of a peekaboo inset circle kind of a view through these to look at those umbrellas. So I grabbed some basic circle dies. These are from Simon Says Stamp, and then 3 shades of just varying depths of the same color of cardstock. You could do this with any color. These happen to be from Spellbinders, and it's kind of a light aqua and a medium and then a deeper one. I'm going to start with the darkest and with the biggest circle and die cut that kind of from the center of that front panel. You can kind of see this is a full A2 size panel, and I picked, like I said, the largest circle I could fit on there and still leave a little bit of a border around the edges. And the great thing is too, I'm going to set those circles aside and you can save those for something else. I'm going to line that up with the next darkest shade there. And then I'm going to grab a little tape. I'm going to use that to center the next size down in the circles into that opening. This is going to make sure all the circles line up perfectly. I went ahead and die cut that off camera just to save a little bit of time. And again, you can see the reverse of the circles I can save on the side there. All right, same thing I did on that last one. Take the next smaller size down circle, again, tape it in place just to make sure it doesn't move while I'm die cutting. And then I can die cut that one again off camera. And then once again, as you layer these all up, you have perfectly centered circles. If they're a little bit off, feel free to trim off the panels back behind to make them line up. But that was a really easy way to get them perfectly lined up. All right, now I'm going to grab an A2 card base. Before I move on to that, I'm going to go ahead and adhere all of these layers together. You can use liquid glue or any form of adhesive you want. I just used my tape runner, and you can see how that perfectly lines up with my A2 card base. Now I'm going to use that kind of as a guide to decide where to stamp my image. So I'm going to line it all up in my MISTI and then go ahead and place that. I'm just looking at the back of the image, but I can kind of see where those umbrellas are going to sit. And then I can stamp this directly onto my white card base. I could stamp it on a separate panel and tuck it behind, but I really didn't want to take that extra step, and this worked really easy. I'm going to keep the image black and white. You could also color it in. I liked just that clean and simple look of it just tucked back behind there. I kind of pondered if I wanted to pop this up with foam adhesive, but with those 3 layers already, I decided just to go ahead and use a little bit of foam adhesive. I thought about double layers and even turning it into a shaker card, but kind of felt like the extra foam and making a shaker card was going to make it a little bit too deep. But the foam adhesive was kind of added to that peekaboo through the hole look and a little more of the looking down a tunnel. All right, there's something about aqua and red that I just love combining together. They're great for Christmas cards, but also for fun, summery, tropical cards. So I went ahead and heat embossed my sentiment, also from the kit, with white embossing powder. And this is some red cardstock that I think it was from Reverse Confetti, just kind of a nice brick red color, not too crazy bright, but it coordinated really great with all of those aquas. And then heat embossing the sentiment in white kind of helps it pop off of that background a little bit as well. I stamped a little crooked, but no worries, your paper trimmer can fix that. So I trimmed it into a thin strip, kind of straightened that sentiment out. And then this is where I played and thought and rearranged and pondered and looked at lots of different ways about where I wanted to place it. In the end, I went ahead and just trimmed a little angled bit off of the side there and then tucked it down in the bottom. You can kind of see I just kind of eyeballed it, planned kind of with my fingers where I wanted to cut it off. Super duper scientific and well thought out. Not really, but it was really easy just to trim that off where I wanted. And then instead of adding foam or anything, I just used a little bit of liquid glue over on that corner where it's gonna stick to the top of that cardstock. And you kind of see I could leave the other little bit floating free. You could add foam adhesive behind it, but I kind of liked how it kind of curled up and left it free floating a little bit there as well. All right, final finishing touch. This bottom part just looked a little empty and like it needed one more thing. So I grabbed some May Arts ivory jute string, wrapped it around lots of times around my card front. Instead of tying it into a bow, I just tied it into a simple knot, trimmed off the edges, and then used my fingers to kind of fray and unravel the ends a little bit. It just kind of gives a softer edge to that. I had that other piece a bit long, so I trimmed off the scraps. And there you go, a fun little different arrangement for a card. Thanks so much for coming by today. I hope you enjoyed and have a wonderful day.